Alright, welcome back to the channel, and welcome to another edition of the Push for Relevancy Coastal Zone Championship Wrestling here on the channel. I have already posted the previous edition of Coast to Coast, the previous tapings, and I said maybe we'll do this one live, but it's not looking like I'm going to be able to stream more than once the week that this is being this week and the following week. So, while I have a little bit of free time, I'm doing a double recording of Coast to Coast, and then later today, I'm gonna record some Ruthless Aggression. It's not that I don't have free time for content, it's that currently, I don't want to get into it, but currently I don't have, like, large blocks of free time to where I can stream. So, it's just a lot of, like, I'm gonna be home for this, but I still have to get this done. Just regardless, Atlantis Calling is going to be pre-recorded and uploaded throughout the week. So sorry to the stream watchers. I hope it's okay. I'm probably going to put these in the VODs channel, the VODs playlist too, for anybody that watches the VODs, so they're not completely caught off guard by missing anything. But yes, it is time to finish the build to Atlantis Calling. We have a couple of things pre-booked for this show. But first things first, we have some news that I want to get into, and the biggest piece of news is that Willow, the current manager for the Beach Boys, has handed in her notice, and she will be leaving the company very soon, and I don't remember the exact date, but yeah, so Willow's gonna be gone, and a little bit of a blow. Her and Chet Chavez had good chemistry, so there's gonna be that, but other than that, I wasn't really using Willow too much. She's not a great promo or anything, so, you know, I'll miss her, but it's not exactly a huge loss. In terms of workers leaving companies, Josh Thompson left USPW, and I really wanted to pick him up, but then CWA scooped him up instantly, so I'm not going to get Josh Thompson. And Nate Johnson has left TCW. That could be funny. He could come in to Coastal Zone and fuck some everybody's wife. So, you know, that would be a fun thing to book. But speaking of booking, tonight we have 3 segments pre-booked. As you will see, our main event here is just kind of very vague, as it is Carlos Barrera and Seth Whitehead in a tag team match. That is the main event. The partners were not announced. Sean McFly announced that Carlos and Seth were to find their own tag team partners for the main event tonight, and I guess we'll find out who they are later on. We are going to be kicking off the show with this 4-way between Simon Waves, Sky Hermosa, Tony DeWonderful, and Waylon Walls, where the winner will get an Extreme Championship match at the pay-per-view, and we have a trios match. The Expelled and California Love Machine versus the Q Crew trios match. California Love is targeting Zell for taking the easy way out, or attempting to take the easy way out, and working with the Coastal Kings at a time where you can't really be working with the Coastal Kings. And the Expelled are going to be facing Wasted Potential in a triple threat tag team match at the pay-per-view for the tag titles. So a fun trios match. Zell Quinn was in a neck brace and an arm sling last time we saw him, so he's booked to wrestle tonight. But yeah, other than that, let's just get straight into this edition of Coast to Coast, and we kick off with the 4-way #1 contenders match, and winning the 4-way and getting an Extreme Championship match at the pay-per-view is none other than Waylon Walls, a former 2-time Extreme Champion who has been going solo recently after Bullseye was taken out by the Coastal Kings, and he gets the victory in 10:26, pinning Simon Waves with the jumping double arm DDT. And during the match, Sky Hermosa really looked to have the victory, but Heartbroken ran in, cost her the match. Since it was an Extreme Qualifier match, there were no DQs, no countouts. Heartbroken ran in, took her out of the match, screwed her out of the chance to win, and Waylon Walls was able to capitalize. 58 rated segment to kick off the show, and afterwards Tigre, he comes out to confront his next challenger when Fox Mask's music hits, and he announces that Waylon, I'm so sorry to do this to you, buddy, but look, I got word from our man on the inside that you haven't quite earned your Extreme Championship match just yet. You see, our man from the inside had pegged his own #1 contenders match later on tonight, Air Attack Weasel, member of the Coastal Kings is going to be taking on one of the most ferocious and dangerous men on the CZCW roster, Altitude. And the winner of that match was supposed to go on and face Tigray. So, unfortunately, Waylon, we're at a bit of a crossroads here, so my man on the inside has made a compromise. You have won your qualifier match, and later on tonight, Air Attack Weasel has his qualifier match, and next week, the two winners of those qualifier matches will face off, and that will truly determine who will get the Extreme Championship match. And Tigray is confused, and Waylon is pissed. Essentially, Fox Mask and their inside man has just swooped in and stolen this Extreme Championship match right out of Waylon Walls' hands. A 52 rated segment. We get a face-to-face between Carlos and Seth backstage where they essentially agree to keep their partners a mystery. Seth Whitehead's mocking Carlos. He's like, I've gotten someone from your past that really would like revenge, and I think I want to keep that a secret, get in your head, not let you get any game plan in. And Carlos is like, look, that's fun. The person I have is, speaking of not getting any game plan in, I don't know if you know how this person wrestles. I don't know if you're aware how this person handles themselves in the ring, so you know what? It would be a perfect strategy for me as well to keep my partner secret. So you know what, Seth? Fine, let's keep our partner secret. 50 rated segment, and we're not going to know the partners in this tag match until later on in the show. Up next, the Inner City Express defeated the Apex Twins in 6 minutes and 1 second when Jay Becker defeated Robbie Apex with the rocket launcher. 52 rated match. Good little match here. Afterwards, the Inner City Express essentially explain the reason they jumped the Promiscuous Pillagers was because them losing to those Japanese rejects, those Puro rejects, was an absolute disgrace. And then losing to the sex-horny, constantly fucking pirates, that just put us over the edge. We lost our way. It was a disgrace and an embarrassment to this former Coastal Zone Tag Team Champions that we lost to either of those teams. And once they snuck away with that victory, once those Pirates snuck away with that victory, that was enough for us to go over the edge and lay them out. And you know what? We don't regret putting Hude Ask's head through a fucking window because that asshole deserved it. And Joanna Silver comes out and she says, you two will pay. You two will pay. Hude Ask did not deserve any of that shit, and I want to get revenge for my big-dicked boyfriend next week. Either of you two meet me in the ring because I'm gonna take you out just like you took him out. And, yeah, we're gonna get a one-on-one between Joanna Silver and I believe it's Jay Becker. Yes, and Jay Becker. So a nice singles match for the go-home show there. Pre-book, alright. 50. We have a 60 as Sean McFly is meeting with Frankie Boy and American Flash in his office, and he's just like, he's a little stressed, his hair's a little frazzled, his hands are up, he's like, guys, I need to fucking figure out who this inside man is. This is getting ridiculous. I'm trying to do a nice thing for one of the most reliable men on my roster. I'm trying to I'm trying to get the show to run. One guy makes my job easier, and then Fox Mask comes in and fucks all that up. I don't know why he needs the Extreme Championship on top of all the other championships. I gotta figure out who this inside man is and put a stop to this. And Frankie Boy and American Flash say, Sean, focus on keeping peace in Coastal Zone. We'll figure out who this inside man is. And Sean thanks them, and they go on their way. 32 rated segment where Swipe Romero is mocking Tony DeWonderful, just essentially like, Tony, dude, that was fucking embarrassing. What was it I was saying? That you're only getting the opportunities that you are because American Flash keeps putting in a good word for you? Look at that, another opportunity given hand-wrapped and served on a silver platter right to Tony DeWonderful, thrown out the window because he's incompetent. And Tony's like, you know what, Swipe? You've gotten 2 wins in this entire fucking year, and you're talking so much shit. So you know what, Swipe Romero? If you truly think that if you had that chance in that number 1 contenders match that you would have won, then do it. Back your shit up. Me versus you at the pay-per-view. And Swipe Romero says, finally, I'm gonna get a pay-per-view match to showcase my talents. 32, Tony versus Swipe is set for the pay-per-view. we have a promo, Chet Chavez, Simon Waves, and Willow. Simon's just kind of disappointed in himself for not only losing that four-way, but taking the pin. Chet just kind of seems a little jealous that Simon got the opportunity in the first place. So he's like, Simon, at least you got a chance. And he's like, dude, it's just the lights were bright and I failed again. And then once the lights are bright, El Jaguar and Luis Montero Jr. walk in and they essentially say, look, we can tell that you two are looking for redemption. We're looking for redemption. We lost to Going Coastal for the second time. We're not able to back up anything that we say. So you know what? How about next week, Simon Waves, Chet Chavez, you wanted a chance to showcase your talents this week. How about you do it against me? This is El Jaguar talking. El Jaguar challenges Chet Chavez to a match next week so that both men can prove, I guess Chet can prove that he should be in opportunities that Simon Waves was getting, and so El Jaguar can prove that the loss to the Coastal Kings was a fluke or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, 46 rated segment. Our next match is a 63 rated match as the Expelled and California Love Machine make fairly quick work of the Q crew. They get the victory in 13 minutes and 7 seconds, and Zell Quinn comes to the ring with his neck brace on, with his arm sling on, and he refuses to tag in during this match at all. Onslaught and Eureka LaBelle, you gotta give them credit. They really put up a hell of a fight for, essentially being in a 3-on-2 handicap match. But, Zell Quinn just refused to tag in, citing the neck brace, saying that neck brace, it was too much for him. His neck is broken, he can't wrestle, he wouldn't tag in, and he screwed over his own Q crew. 63, and afterwards, California Love Machine tries to challenge Zell to a pay-per-view match. He's like, Zell, not only did you try to take the easy way out by working with the Coastal Kings, you refused to even wrestle me tonight. So you know what? How about you wrestle me at the pay-per-view? And Zell Quinn's just like, look, my neck is broken. I can't do it. It's in pieces. My neck is in did you know that your neck can break? Because mine is. So no, California Love Machine, I will not wrestle you at the pay-per-view. Good day. 61. The following segment gets a 45 as Kira Lee and Sky Hermosa are looking around for Heartbroken. Heartbroken screwed Sky Hermosa out of the number 1 contenders match, and they are looking for him to get some sort of revenge when they come across Air Raid Siren, and they're like, where the fuck is he? And Siren's just like, look, I know where he is, and I'm not telling you shit. The next time that you see Heartbroken, it will be at the pay-per-view, because what goes around comes around. You fucked over Heartbreaker. You fucked over our chance to win the Extreme title. You fucked over my chance to win the Extreme title, and you two, we just did exactly what you did to us. So you know what? What goes around comes around, and we will see you two at the pay-per-view to get proper revenge in a tag team match. So yes, Los Face Breakers will take on the California Dreams at the pay-per-view. Boom. Bang. Pay-per-view match set up. The second Extreme Championship qualifier sees Air Attack Weasel make fairly quick work of Altitude. I forgot to add, I was going to add Fox Mask Interference, but essentially this was going to be like a quick showcase for Altitude. I kind of buried him earlier in the show, but the gimmick of this match was like Air Attack Weasel thought he was going to win in like 2 seconds, and Altitude was able to fight off fairly easily. It was a fairly even match, but Fox Mask just cuts him off whenever he starts to get any form of momentum, and Air Attack Weasel defeats Altitude in 6 minutes and 2 seconds, meaning that Air Attack Weasel and Waylon Walls are going to meet next week in a true number 1 contenders match. I guess the Mystery Man is just fucked over Waylon Walls big time, and maybe Waylon won't even come out of this with a championship match at all. Heartbroken cuts a promo with Air Raid Siren in his, black room where nobody knows where they are. Maybe they're in a box, who knows. But essentially, Heartbroken, he offers to take out Sky Hermosa. He says, Siren, I heard what they said to you. They're evil girls. I'm gonna take that Sky Hermosa out once and for all. She's not even gonna make it to the pay-per-view. She doesn't mess with a queen like you, Air Raid Siren. And Siren's like, yeah, Heart, that's all I ever wanted. She just doesn't understand the message. You're right, she doesn't, Siren. You're right. She's not making it to the pay-per-view. I'm gonna get her when she least expects it. 42 for that. The Coastal Kings are called out by none other than Frankie Boy and Flash, American Flash. They call out the Coastal Kings and they demand once and for all who this mystery man is. I forgot to put like 4 people on this segment and I just realized it. So imagine Frankie Boy's with them. Imagine Frankie Boy's with them and Fox Mask is with them. But, so yeah, Coastal Kings are obviously like, yeah, we're never gonna reveal who our mystery hand is. Why would we ever show you our hand? And, Frankie Boy says, look, Frankie Perez, I know you want revenge on me. I know you hate American Flash, and you want this championship back, as he's pointing right to the Confederation of the Territories World Championship. So how about this? Since we're already set up for a tag match at the pay-per-view, how about we add a little wager? If me and American Flash win, you guys gotta reveal publicly who your inside man is, who's pulling all these strings. But if you guys win, Frankie Perez, at Hardcore Halloween, I'll give you a Confederation of the Territories championship match. You will get a chance to win this title back. And without hesitation, Frankie Perez, on behalf of the Coastal Kings, accepts, and they shake on it. And Fox Mask and Mask Cougar are like, damn, what the fuck? But they don't care. They're confident in themselves. They do not fear this tag match. So they end up shaking on it in general. But they are, of course, then jumped by Jackpot Jordan and Jake Idol. They start to beat down the baby faces when Tigre Salvaje Jr. comes out of nowhere to make the save. Clearly not happy with this whole garbage the Inside Man is doing. Imagine Tigre is here too. Tigre Salvaje runs in, makes the save, and there is a big 3v3 set for next week's main event. Coastal Kings versus Frankie Boy, American Flash, and the Extreme Champion, Tigre Salvaje Jr. And it is time for the main event. The tag partners are revealed. Seth Whitehead brings someone from Carlos Barrera's past that wants revenge, none other than Kira Lee. But Carlos brings in somebody we haven't seen in CZCW in a while. He brings in Al Coleman. Al Coleman's going to be Carlos Barrera's tag team partner. Coleman is not back full time. Full transparency. This was supposed to be California Love Machine, but I accidentally double booked the fucking guy. So I had to scramble, and Al Coleman just happened to be in the free agent pool, local workers. So Al Coleman has been brought in. Seth Whitehead wanted to bring somebody from Carlos's past. So Carlos wanted to bring in somebody that Seth Whitehead has never seen or wrestled. And in the end, in the main event, it gets a 71. Fuck, man, I pissed off Fox Mask for no fucking reason. Al Coleman was rusty, and he got a 36. The match was good, though, probably thanks to the creative finish. But in the end, in about that great wrestling and good heat, Kira Lee and Seth Whitehead are able to defeat Carlos Barrera and Al Coleman in 20 minutes and 6 seconds when Seth Whitehead hits the butterfly powerbomb on Al Coleman. And yes, Seth Whitehead gets the win, has the edge going into the pay-per-view match, and he gets all up into Carlos Barrera's face and just essentially says, you do not know who you're fucking with. You messed with me once before, and I came out on top. You're lucky you're even still in this company, because after this next loss, your stock is going to be so devalued that nobody is going to want you. No, you're going to be gone from Coastal Zone, and no one's going to pick you up. This is the end of your run, Carlos. 61 to end the show, a 68 for the overall show. So yeah, that's taping number 1. Let's get into the second taping of this episode. Okay, and we're here for the second taping. I usually go straight into the show, but I do have a little bit of news. Onslaught and Snapdragon Jr. have started dating, so good for them. Good. Where is it? Personal details. Yeah, he's dating Onslaught. Look at that. Look at that. Love story in the making, future tag team. He will turn on Komodo Dragon to become, Onslaught's tag team partner. I don't know. That's actually not a horrible idea. But yeah, let's kick off the show with the real #1 contenders match, where Air Attack Weasel is able to defeat Waylon Walls in 14 minutes and 22 seconds with a handful of tights. And we also had Foxmask run in and attack Weasel. Foxmask 2 comes in, screws over Waylon Walls, and Air Attack Weasel is able to weasel his way into an Extreme Championship match at the pay-per-view, thanks in no small part to Foxmask 2 and the Coastal Kings. So yeah, Waylon Walls got screwed over big time, and if we've learned anything from Gangster Nation as a whole, he's not gonna take this easily. 41 to open the show, we get a promo from the back where Frankie Boy, Tigray, and American Flash just kind of say, look, the Coastal Kings think they have the numbers advantage on us. They really think that, just because they've got more people repping a logo, that they've got more guys on their side, and that's just not the case. We have damn near the entire roster against the Coastal Kings. So they can continue to do their bullshit with, beating us down from behind with a man advantage in the small term. But if you think about it, we've got Carlos, we've got Callie, we've got Tigray watching our backs. They don't understand that just because not all of us are under the same banner and color scheme and logo, it doesn't mean we're not working together. We're all against the Coastal Kings, and they'll see that tonight. 54 rated segment. We get a promo from California Love Machine where he essentially says, Zell Quinn is a fucking liar. I checked with the doctors, and the doctors say not only is Zell Quinn's neck not broken, it's better than ever. I asked them, okay, it's not hurting. They're like, dude, his neck's at 200%. So you know what, Zell? Now that I know you're a fucking fraud and you're not lying to me, if you don't accept my challenge, I'm gonna call you out later tonight. Meet me in the ring. If you don't accept my challenge, there will be hell to pay. 51 rated segment. Heartbroken, he ambushes the California Dreams. He goes after Sky Hermosa. He tries to take them out like he promised for talking bad about Air Raid Siren, but they knew it was coming, so they easily stop him and thwart his attack, and just stop it, and it just angers Heartbroken even more. They clearly watched the show and watched his threat, and they're like, look, we knew he was coming. So they just easily stop it, and Heartbroken is even more riled up as a result. Joanna Silver and Jay Becker get a 52, as Joanna Silver is outnumbered. Distractions by Elite Cash at ringside do Joanna Silver in as she loses in 11 minutes and 31 seconds with the note perfect. Jay Becker got a 51. Good match. And afterwards, the Inner City Express, they say fuck it, and they go for a beatdown on Joanna Silver. But Hyundai Asks music hits, he returns to the company, and he's got a he's got a baseball bat with nails sticking out of the side, and he runs off the Inner City Express to save his girlfriend. He's all taped up everywhere. His ribs are taped up, his head's taped up, his headband right there, that little thing is replaced by a giant bandage. He's in shambles, but he has that nailed bat, and he he chases off the Inner City Express. We cut backstage where we see Mask Cougar, Frankie Perez, and Foxmask talking, and Foxmask essentially tells Frankie that, look, everybody was under the assumption that it would be the champions versus Frankie Boy, Flash, and Tigray tonight. However, Frankie, Tigray, Cougar's gonna have to take this one off. You really need to wrestle this one. And Frankie's like, what the fuck? Why? They challenged Mask Cougar. Why am I the one getting put in this match? And Fox is like, look, he's the world champion. We have to make sure that he's 100% at all times, or else he's at risk of losing the title. Look, if you get that COTT title that you went on and fucking agreed to get before even checking with us, if you can win that title, then we'll protect you just the same. But until then, you gotta take some bumps. And Frankie is mad, but I guess Fox's assurance of, like, if you get that Confederations of the Territories title, he will be protected just the same. So 53 between these new members of the Coastal Kings. The following segment is the match between Chet Chavez and El Jaguar. Chet was really off his game, which is a shame. Chet Chavez isn't that bad. But this is one hell of a match, as it goes 17 minutes and 2 seconds. But Chet Chavez is unsuccessful in beating El Jaguar, falling to the Jaguar suplex in 17 minutes and 2 seconds. And Chet is pissed with himself. He didn't get into that number one contenders match last week, and now he gets even more pissed when Simon Waves comes in and he's trying to help him up, and he's like, dude, come on, it was a one night thing, you know, this doesn't have anything. And Chet just isn't having it. He's like, get off of me, man, I don't want to hear it right now. But that fires Simon Waves up. He's like, fuck, we're kind of getting into a fight, and we're one of the most successful tag teams in CZCW history, so it fires him up, and he comes right at El Jaguar and Luis Montero Jr., and he says, you know what, tonight didn't prove shit, because we are two tag teams. Why are we settling our scores in a singles match? Me and Chet are the greatest tag team champions this company's ever seen. You two have yet to prove a goddamn thing. So if you actually want to prove something, how about we settle the score at the pay-per-view? El Jaguar and Luis Montero Jr. versus the Beach Boys. Winner gets the bragging rights. Yeah, El Jaguar and Luis are like, look, this will be a great opportunity. The lights will be pretty bright. Time to prove that we are, that we can execute when the lights are the brightest. So yeah, I think I pre-booked that. Tag match set for the pay-per-view. Nope, guess who forgot? Look at that. Guess who forgot? Alright, Beach Boys, Jaguar and Luis, bang. Alright, cool. Hey, alright, cool. So, after that, we get a promo by Hugh Day-Ask, still taped up, and he just essentially says, Malik Cash and Jay Becker are a bunch of losers. They're cowards, and to prove they're not cowards, that he wants to go all 4C, hardcore style, on Malik Cash, next week. Just essentially pre-booking a hardcore match for next week's Coast to Coast. We gotta do the Aussie rules because our fucking fans. So we're not actually going 4C. We're doing the WWE thing where we say, oh, we're gonna have one hell of a hardcore match, and then it's just like folding chairs. So, there we go. Malik Cash, Hugh Day-Ask, hardcore match next week. California Love Machine comes out to the ring, and he calls out Zell. He says, waiting time is over, Zell. Come out and accept my challenge, or they will be hell to pay. And Zell Quinn does not come out. Rather, he sends Wasted Potential to try and jump him. But the second Wasted Potential hit the ring, Atsumori Takamura and Bunraku Kintori cut them off, lay them out, and California grabs the mic again, and he says, look, I knew this was happening, Zell. We fucking fought you so much. We all know how you operate. I knew you were gonna send your cronies out to do your dirty work. So how about this, Zell? If you don't believe me, if you don't think there's gonna be hell to pay, if you don't come out here and accept that challenge, Atsumori Takamura and Bunraku Kintori are going to break both of Wasted Potential's arms. And Zell Quinn, he comes out and he stands at the top of the ramp, and he's just pacing back and forth. He forgot to put on his arm sling. He only has the neck brace on this time. And he has a microphone, and he's like, but he doesn't say anything. And California's like, all right, Atsumori, Bunraku can start it. They put both Eureka and Onslaught in a Kimura. They crank it. Zell Quinn, he gets the mic to his mouth again, and he's like, I don't care what the doctors say. I'm not ready. I can't wrestle you, California. These guys will take bullets for me, break their arms, see how much it gets you. You're never going to fight me in a match. And Sean McFly comes out and he says, California Love Machine, stop. Takamura, stop. Bunraku can stop. Look. I can't have my people getting injured. Alright? California Love Machine, I can't have my people getting injured. We're on the same team in this fight against the Coastal Kings. Do not make my job harder, alright? Release them from the holds. California, I'm the general manager. I make the matches. You're gonna get your match against Zell Quinn. There's no need to break my talent's arms. And, yeah, California Love Machine and Zell Quinn are gonna wrestle at the pay-per-view, and Zell Quinn was willing to sell out his own men to get out of that match. And Eureka LaBelle and Onslaught, they start staring daggers right at Zell Quinn for trying to get out of this match by allowing California and the Expelled to break their arms. Our final segment before the main event sees Carlos Barrera and Seth Whitehead going face-to-face. Carlos says that he still needs to make up for his last loss, and Seth says he wants to beat him more than once, so they agree at the pay-per-view their match will be a 2 out of 3 falls match, and I just realized I need to change that in the pre-booking or else I will forget. So there we go. 2 out of 3 falls. Carlos needs to make up for his last win. Seth Whitehead wants to bury him further. So a 2 out of 3 falls match will be happening between these two guys. Our main event gets an 80 rating as Tigre, American Flash, and Frankie Boy Fernandez defeat the Coastal Kings after exactly what Frankie and Flash and Tigre said. Look, if just because people aren't with their side at all times and they aren't repping some, what's the word? Superfluous? You know the fucking word. I don't know. Superficial. That wasn't the word I was thinking of, but you know what I mean. Some superficial name and message, just because that they don't have a group and a faction doesn't mean that people aren't with them. And Tigre, and American Flash is able to pin Jackpot Jordan with the high velocity senton after 20 minutes and 35 seconds because the Expelled, California Love Machine, and Waylon Walls all come out to prevent the Coastal Kings at the ringside from interfering in the match, cementing the babyface's victory. And we end the show with this shot where Frankie Boy's staring at Fox Mask and Mask Cougar, the man that got out of this main event match, allowing Frankie Perez to essentially be fed to the wolves. He's staring him down. There's just a little bit of tension as a result of, on both sides, as Fox and Mask Cougar were not too happy that Frankie Perez agreed to this wager before checking with them, and Frankie is not exactly as happy with Fox and Mask Cougar for shoving him in this match. But yeah, the final sight of this pay-per-view is hyping up the tag team main event for the show. We only got a 65 because Jake Idol and Joanna Silver were overused, which is shit happens. We made $11,000, so that's nice. But yeah, I signed Al Coleman and I pissed off Fox Mask even more so for a man that gave me a 36 rating. So safe to say Al Coleman is probably not coming back anytime soon. But yeah, that's going to do it for this edition of Coastal Zone Championship Wrestling. I'm going to run down the pay-per-view real quick. I will, of course, go more in-depth on the actual pay-per-view episode as always. So, did anything really interesting happen? I don't think so. Dean McQuaid's leaving the business. That's not interesting. I think Mario Da Silva has worked. This is actually mildly interesting. Nope, he hasn't. I thought he worked for both Pride and Burning Hammer now, but no. Missy Masterson's left US Pro. That wouldn't be a bad pickup. That would not be a bad pickup. Yeah, I know. Okay. But yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this edition of Coastal Zone. At Atlantis Calling, we are going to see the Tag Team Championships up for grabs as Rich and Famous defend their titles against both the Expelled and Wasted Potential. Swipe Romero will take on Tony DeWonderful. The California Dreams will take on Los Facebreakers. The Beach Boys will take on El Jaguar and Luis Montero Jr. Extreme Championship title is up for grabs as Tigre Salvaje Jr. defends his title against Air Attack Weasel. California Love Machine will take on Zell Quinn. Number 1 contenders match, 2 out of 3 falls, Carlos Barrera versus Seth Whitehead. And in the main event, the team of American Flash and Frankie Boy Fernandez will take on the team of Mask Cougar and Frankie Perez, where if the faces win, the Coastal Kings will have to reveal who their inside man is, while if the heels win, Frankie Perez will get his COTT championship rematch, finally. So yeah, I hope you all enjoyed this edition. I hope you all come back for Atlantis Calling in episode number 28.